Hey, good morning. It's Rabbi Shlomo First here. I'm a temporary substitute for Rabbi Ruben Levitt, who's taking care of some important business in Yeshiva today. We wish him hatzlacha and success. And this is Rabbi Levitt's Gemora Shir, and right now currently in Bava Kamma, Daf Mem Ches Amid Beis, if I'm not mistaken. Correct?
Correct.
Okay, where shall we begin? Rabbi, we had it yesterday, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find where we were.
No further than in HaKodesh, gracious, not further than that.
Where?
By the two dots.
Where is it there?
I think we're at the Im HaKodesh, which is the two dots. It's in the middle of the page.
Sure.
First word in the line is Or-Chai.
That's actually, good. Yeah, a very good place to start, yes?
Yeah, because I think we finished the previous discussion about the kofar and Ula and Shmuel. We finished that. Good. And we either started this or we shouldn't be starting this.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
Should I read?
Unless anyone wants to certain
Im hiknis bereshus bal chatzer chayik. If he came in with permission, the owner of the courtyard is liable. So this is a case where it's not a trespasser. The owner of the ox came in, got permission to come in, and then some damage occurred, and the owner of the courtyard is going to be liable for the damage. Itmar, Rav Amar, Hilchasa Tana Kamma. It was stated that Rav says that the law is like the Tana Kamma.
So let's just try and clarify. What was the difference with if the Gemora is making a statement that the halacha is like, in this case, the Tana Kamma, right? So maybe it's worthwhile. Let's just refer back to the Mishnah to see the machlokas, okay, to see the two separate opinions. That's on.
It's Mem Zion on the base, near the top.
Mem Zion on the base.
1, 2, 3, 4, fifth line down.
Let's see, Mem Zion on the base.
Sorry, Mem Zion on the base. The fifth line down, just before the Gemora. 3 lines before the Gemora. It's a 1. It's a 47B. 47B1.
Im hiknis bereshus. He brought it in with permission. Baal ha-chatzer chayik. The owner of the courtyard is chayik. Rebbe says, the Huran Eino Chayik. In all of these cases, he's not Chayiv. That is the homeowner, the owner of the courtyard. Ad she yikabel alav lishmor, until he accepts upon himself to guard. So in other words, unless the homeowner says, you can come into my courtyard, that's not enough. That does not, according to Rebbe, it does not imply that he accepts responsibility. According to Rebbe, he has to explicitly say, and I accept responsibility, or I will guard it, or some words to that effect.
Okay, so that's our machlokas. Tanakama says general invitation to come into his domain implies responsibility of shmira, an obligation, and according to Rebbe, that only if he explicitly mentions that he's going to receive and take responsibility for the guardianship of the other person's shul. Okay.
So Rav says that the halacha is like a Kamma, that he is responsible, and Shmuel says the halacha is like Rebbe, that he's not responsible.
Okay.
Tana Rabbanan, the rabbis learned in the Brisa, Kenos Shorcha V'sham Ro. So bring in your ox and guard him. So this is a statement by the homeowner who says, bring your ox in and you guard your ox. He explicitly says, you guard your ox. Chizik Chayev. For damages, he is liable. That is the owner of the ox. Chuzak. Okay, so active damages. Chizik is active damages. Chuzak is passive damages. Chuzak putter. So passive damages would be...
It's actually the other way. The chizik is that your ox did damage to my things. Whose ox is the shore that came in got damaged.
Was damaged, right? That's passive.
Right.
Yeah, but because
it's
who's getting damaged by who?
The other chizik is the balachash's things are being damaged.
Right.
The chuzak is that ox itself that came in is being damaged. And the putter on it is
Right.
the putter on that.
Chizik is the ox did damage, and Chuzak is the ox was damaged.
Right.
Putter. So if the ox was damaged, then the patura belongs to the homeowner, the
homeowner,
the courtyard owner.
Right.
The owner of the courtyard is putter because he said you guard it. So he has no responsibility. All the responsibility rests on the owner of the ox. Kinos shorcha va'ani esh merenu. Esh merenu. Bring in your ox, and I will guard it. So now this is a different statement. This is a statement where the homeowner explicitly took responsibility to guard the ox. Chuzak chayiv. So if the ox was damaged, then the homeowner is liable. Chizik patur. If the ox did damage to the homeowner's property, then the owner of the ox is exempt. Okay, that seems pretty clear. Ha gufa kasha. This statement, the body of this statement is contains a difficulty. The translation says self-contradictory. Amras kinos shorcha v'sham ro. You say, bring in your ox and guard it, and you guard it. Okay, that was the first statement. Chizik chayiv, chuzak pater. The ox damages, he's chayiv. The ox is damaged, he's pater.
No, the he's the two different he's.
The two different he's, right. In the first case, it's the ox damaged, then the owner of the ox is liable. In the second case, the ox was damaged, the owner of the courtyard is not liable. Tsama, the reason, Da'amar le shamro, because he said to him, you guard it. Dechayev bal hashur pater bal chatzir, that the bal hashur is going to be liable, and the owner of the courtyard is going to be exempt.
So what's short? What does it mean exempt? In the two different cases.
The damages to the shore.
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
So, again,
Will you clarify something?
yeah, I just want to try to clarify what was the occurrence, what actually happened here?
The owner of the ox came to the owner of the courtyard and said, I want to bring my ox into your courtyard.
This is the other way. It's always the courtyard owner saying, I'm giving you permission. And there's a kind of comma which says, you guard it. And then there's a second piece. It's actually a brisa. It's not called a kind of comma. That's relating to the Mishnah. The question is, there are two cases over here. The first case of the brisa says, bring your ox. The owner of the courtyard says, bring your ox in, but you have to guard it. And that's the first case. And in the second case, he says, I will guard it. So it's two cases. Now he's saying in the first case, he explained the first case again.
I don't think you said anything different from what I was saying.
Right. But I'm saying, I think you skipped a line there. Okay, right. So let's continue on. Because the issue was...
Well, the rabbi wanted to clarify what's the situation.
We're still in the first case, the Shomer case.
Right, so the first case, the
First
owner of
case
the ox
said
comes
you
to
guard
the
it.
owner of the courtyard.
It's on you. He says, the owner says it's on you, right?
The owner of the courtyard says,
It's on
you
you.
bring him in,
Right?
and you have to guard it.
It's on you.
Right.
Good.
Tsama. This is a plain case.
No,
that's an inference.
It's the inferences. It's starting the reason of that ruling. The ruling is, he said you guard it. Therefore, if the ox does the damage, that means if he does the damage, the Baal Shor is chayiv if he does damages. And Pater is the Baal Chatzer if it is damage. Because he said, you bring it in. That's because it specifically said you guard it. Now, the Hastama means what happens if he doesn't say anything.
Based on what you
And
just
the
told us,
case,
what can we infer
You're inferring the Stama
when
case.
there was nothing said?
If
There was
nothing
no
was said,
statement.
if this was said, we understand that's the rule. If we don't say anything, what would be the inference from it? So that's the Hastama part of that.
That's the Gemora taking over. The Gemora is now based on this situation. What can we infer when there wasn't an explicit obligation of the Baal Ashur to guard his animal? So what would we say if it was just a simple, plain invitation
To come in without saying anything.
right, without any declaration of responsibility?
So we have the case where the courtyard owner says you guard it.
Right.
Now the question is, what if the courtyard owner didn't say you guard it?
Right.
And the answer is chayev Baal HaChatzer upater Baal HaShur. So if the implication is that if the courtyard owner didn't say anything about who is responsible, then the courtyard owner would be exempt and the owner of the ox would be liable. The Tsama mikabel alei netirusa, because if there's no specification, he receives upon himself responsibility. So who is he? He receives upon himself.
It's the Baal Chatzer.
No, because it said the Baal HaChatzer is Patra.
That was
Read
the
the
case.
Stama, read the High Stama. You're mixing up the lines. After the Shomer.
Stama chayev Baal HaChatzer.
Right. It's Chayiv Baal Chatzer, not the Baal Ashur.
Oh, Patra Baal Ashur. So if he doesn't say anything, then he accepts upon himself. Okay, so since if he says you guard it, then the owner of the ox is liable. The implication is if he didn't say you guard it, then the owner of the ox would not be liable.
And the owner of the chutzner would be the one that would be liable.
Okay.
It's switching the people who would be chayiv and putter.
All right. Ema Seifa. Now let's consider the second half of the brisa. Kinos shorcha va'ani eshmarenu. Bring in your ox and I will guard it. Huzak chayiv chizik putter. The ox was damaged. The homeowner is liable. The ox did damage. The owner of the ox is exempt. Tsama, the reason, Da'amarle, that he said to him, Va'ani eshmarenu. The owner of the courtyard said to the owner of the ox, I will guard it. Therefore, the owner of the courtyard is going to be responsible, and the owner of the ox is going to be not responsible. Hu de michayev bal hachatzer upater bal hashur. The owner of the courtyard is liable because he said, "I will guard it," and the owner of the shore is not liable because the owner of the courtyard is liable. Ha stama. We imply from this, if he didn't specify, chayev bal hashur, that the bal hashur would be liable. Upater bal hachatzer, and the owner of the courtyard would not be liable. De vistama lo mikabel aleha netirusa, because without specifying, he does not automatically accept upon himself responsibility. So, in this case, because the owner of the courtyard didn't specify, he's not liable, implying that the owner of the ox is liable.
And that's why these things are contradictory, because you're inferring the opposite things from the two things. Because from the first thing, the thing you infer is the opposite. From the second one, the thing you infer is opposite. So that a stama case has two different possibilities of a stama. Right. Does he accept responsibility? Right. What is the stama case? Is the stama case he does accept responsibility, or he doesn't accept responsibility? Right. We don't know.
So
that's
the contradiction. Inconclusive, because the inference from both the ratio or the sefer are contradictory inferences. So you really don't have a proof.
Right. So we have we're unclear on what the stama case what the halacha would be in the stama case. Asan the Rebbe, we've arrived at Rebbe. So Damar, that Rebbe says, Ad sheyikabel alei, until he accepts upon himself the tirusa, responsibility, val habayis lishmor. Until the Baal Habayis accepts upon himself the obligation to guard, that's it. That's the statement. That's what Rebbe said. Rebbe said he has to actually explicitly accept upon himself responsibility. If he doesn't, he's not responsible.
Anything less than explicit assumption of responsibility will result in him being exempt.
So according to Rebbe, the stama case is clear. He didn't explicitly express, therefore he's not liable.
He's not liable.
The homeowner is not liable. Therefore, we can deduce that the owner of the ox is liable in the stama case. Reisha Rabbanan V'Seifa Rebbe. But so we have a problem here. We have the Reisha of the Brisa is like the rabbis, and the Seifa is like Rebbe. In other words, in the Reisha, like the rabbis say, if he doesn't explicitly accept, he is responsible. And Rebbe says he's not. Okay, so that is the. So we just really restated the contradiction, putting it in the names of the different people.
Okay. The question is, what did the Gemora just do?
It basically said we got a problem with this brisa because a brisa has to be written by one person. But we've got a brisa where the Reisha is written by one person and the Sefer is written by a different person. And that's...
or at least the ramifications of the Reisha and the Sefer are coming out according to different opinions.
Right. And that's a no-no, right?
You don't want to do that. That's not ideal.
Okay, so now presumably the Gemora is going to try and resolve this problem.
Okay.
Amar Rebbe Elazar said, Tavra.
Exactly.
It's contradicting.
Tavra actually means break.
Break?
To break. Break it. Break it.
To break.
Break it. Tavra means we break it. Meaning, what was our difficulty? Our difficulty was that you had the beginning of the brisa and the end of the brisa coming out to be two contradictory opinions, correct? So that's problematic if you understand that the brisa has one author. Yeah.
Right.
But if you break it, you say no, it really has two authors.
So it solves your problem. This one's God, no, this one's Rebbe, no big deal.
That's right. So Tavra literally means break it.
Break it.
So, because your problem is you're learning it as to be a unified brisa. But if you split it up into being two separate statements by two different mandomas, two different tanoim, so then you solve your problem. So Tivra, break it.
Misha Shana Zu, Lo Shana Zu. The one who wrote this one didn't the one who taught this one didn't teach this one.
I mean, the one who taught the Reisha, the beginning, wasn't teaching the Sefer. The one who taught the Sefer wasn't teaching the Reisha.
Right.
So now you don't have any contradiction. It's less than ideal to say that a brisa that an anonymous brisa, or even for that matter an anonymous Mishnah, which you assume to have been said by one person, is now going to be established to be said by two people. It's less than ideal, but it's passable.
Rava says, Kula Rabbanan Hi. No, Rabbi Elazar, we don't have to break it. We can say that it's all the rabbis. So the rabbis are the ones that said that the Tsama case is that he is responsible.
Right. So they have a maklokus, Rebbe Elazar and Rava. Right? Rabbi Elazar says that you split the brisa, and according to Rava, you say no, it's all the Rabbanim.
It's all the rabbis. So how are we going to deal with the problem that it seems like the ratio is not the rabbis?
So if you want to keep it intact, so you have to come up with some other way of making a distinction. A peaceful distinction between the Reisha and the Sefer.
Right. Aide de nasiv Reisha shamro. Since the Tana deals in the first case, in the first clause, with guarding. So the first clause, he says, I will guard it.
Well, we have to make a distinction. Rather than, according to Rabbi Elazar, you made a distinction between who said the Reisha and who said the Sefer. Right? According to Rava, we'll say that the same spokesman was mentioning the first halacha in the Reisha and the second halacha in the Sefer. However, there's going to be a difference between the two cases. You have to make some distinction between the Reisha and the Sefer. That's got to be. So how are you going to distinguish between the Reisha and the Sefer? You have to say that the Reisha is talking about one particular case, and the Sefer is talking about another particular case. What is that? That's what he just said.
So since the Tana deals in the first clause with a case where the homeowner says, guard your ox, Tana Seifa V'ani Esh Merenu he teaches the second part with the statement, I will guard it. So in other words, he's saying, you don't need to make this diuk to the Tsama case in both of these, in the Reisha and the Sefer. You can just say, okay, he's teaching the Reisha, and then the Sefer is the other case. But that doesn't mean you have to go and make this this calculation about what the Tsama case is in both sides.
So what, without being a mean person about this, yeah, it's like saying, okay, so he wants to give both sides of the story that way, but it doesn't answer what the Tsama case would be. It doesn't say whether the Tsama case, what does the Tsama case always follow the Reisha part first, and the Sefer is just an add-on.
The Sefer is just an add-on. That's what it's saying, right?
Is that the implication that the Tsama follows the Reisha case, and then he's just giving you what would happen in the Sefer case for the sake of it? Or the Tsama can't even be, because it doesn't say what the Tsama case is. I mean, frankly,
it's pretty weak.
Because also, there is one more thing about it. It is that the inference of the Reisha case,
Right.
the ruling is like the Tsama case, is like the Sefer case. That's what the end ruling comes to be. Like the Sefer case is what the end ruling of the Tsama case is.
What the inference going to be?
The inference is this, if he doesn't say we'll guard it.
Yeah, according to this, according to them, saying it up, what's the inference going to be? Not sure.
I don't know, it's clear as mud to me.
No, not exactly. Again, Amar Abulazar, Tivra, and Mishashan Zulo Shumza. Okay, Araba, Omer, Kulu Rabban. I need a new situation. Shamu, Ana Sefer. Va'ani Eshkurenu. So what do we see from that in terms of what when we learn out
What does he say that the Tsama means? The Tsama is that I will guard it. That the absence of you will guard it, Tsama is I will guard it, which is the Sefer.
Okay. Not sure. Yeah. Let's go. Let's continue. I'm not sure what the inference going to be.
Now, Papa Amar, what Papa says, Kula Rebbe. He's going to say the opposite of what Rabbi says. He says that the entire brisa is according to Rebbe. And Rebbe says that the only way the homeowner is going to be responsible is if he explicitly accepts responsibility upon himself. So the Tsama case would be he's not responsible. The Savar La Ke Rebbe Tarfo. And he thinks, or he holds in this case, like Rebbe Tarfo. Amar Keren v'chatzer ha-nizak nezek shalem mishalem. He says that Reb Tarfon says that if there is a damage that is classified as Karen in a courtyard, the damaged person pays a damage payment.
Nezek Shalem, full damages.
Nezek Shalem.
It says here, Karen Bechatzer. The art scroll says the premises of the damaged person.
Right, that's not.
No, Bechatzer Chanizak. The courtyard of the damaged person.
Right.
So it's private property, is the point.
Right.
There's two things. It's Karen and it's private property. In that case, there's a full payment of the damage payment.
Right.
Okay, so that's Rebbe Tarfon. So the reason that this can be like Rebbe, who says that he has to explicitly accept responsibility, is that we're going according to Rebbe Tarfon, who says that you pay full damages in this specific case.
In the case of Karen Bechatzer and Nezik, right, you have Karen assured, which damages with the form of Nezik, which is called Karen, but that's going to be done in a private domain, right? It's Nezik Mishalem, Nezik Shalem Mishalem. It's full damages has to be paid. Right? Normally, Karen will be, unless it's a muad, it's going to be usually paying Chetzi Nezik.
Right.
Karen, even if it's a tam, in the chutzner of the Nezik, in the private domain, Karen in the private domain will pay full damages.
So how does this help Rebbe?
That's the Hilchah. Keep going.
What?
He didn't answer, Jeff. He's just said that's Rebbe Tarfon's thing that we learned before, that he pays full damages. And now where Rebbe comes into it is this next part, Hilchah. Therefore,
Hilchah.
and this is what Rav Papa is deducing. He's using Rav Tarfon's ruling to say the following.
Amar Le, and he said to him, Shamra, guard it.
You guard it.
The homeowner said to the owner of the ox, you guard it.
He's specifically saying to the owner of the ox, you can come in, but you must guard it.
Okay, so that is the sefer.
That's the ratio. The ratio is the shomer.
Isn't the ratio said where the owner said, I will guard it?
The sefer is I will guard it. The shomer is the ratio. The shomer is the ratio.
You guard it. Okay, so that's the ratio. Lo makne le makom bechetzer. He did not convey the place of the yard. He did not convey to the ox's owner.
Makne is more like acquiring. He's not getting he's not acquiring a place in the chutzner. It's still considered the chutzner of the nizik, the Bava chutzner.
So the ox's owner did not acquire
a place.
The place of the courtyard.
Right. When he said to come in, he said, you come in, but it's my domain.
You're coming into my domain.
And you remain an outside. You're not gaining any partnership with me in my domain. Because that would change it, because we're saying that this is Karen Rishus Nizik, right? So if you change it, that he had some type of share in the domain of the Nizik, so that wouldn't be Kutzer, that wouldn't be Karen in the Rishus of the Nizik. It would be Rishus Rabbi, it would be like it was Rishus Rabbi.
Right.
Which changed the whole halacha.
In this case, since he was not Makne,
right.
The owner of the ox was not Makne, therefore it's still private property, and it's still the property of the homeowner.
Right.
And so if the homeowner gets damaged, the Havya lay Karen Bechatzer Anizak, then it is a case where it's Karen in private property. Okay. the Karen, the Chatzer, Hanizak, Yishalem, Nizak Shalem. And in that case, he pays the full payment, according to Rabbi Tarfo.
Because that's Karen, the Chatzer Nizik, and he pays Nizik Shal, full damages.
Lo Amar Le Shamro. If he did not say to him, you guard it. So now we're doing the Seifa. Now we're doing the Tsama.
Right, of the Shamro.
He didn't say you guard it. Akne le makom. He conveyed to him the place. So he said, you can come in. He didn't say anything about who's going to guard. And therefore, since he didn't say you guard it, we presume that by saying come in, he is giving him now like a partnership ownership in the courtyard.
Right.
V'havya le chatzer hashutafim. And we have a case of a courtyard of partners. The Karen b'chatzer hashutfin eino mishalem ela hetzi nezik. So if you have it, if it's not private property, it's still Karen, but it's not private property. So you have half payment. So how does that help us?
Well, there are two things. It's only half payment. If it's the Chetzer Nizik would be Nezik Shalem. If it's in the Chetzer Shutafim, it's only half payment. Now, it's not that he wouldn't have to pay at all. He still has to pay half payment. It's not that he's off totally scot-free. He still has to pay only half of it.
But our Brisa doesn't say anything about half payment.
Right.
So how does this?
It only talks about chayiv and pater. So the question is, he's pater from nezik shalom, and he's chayiv and chetzi nezik.
So I don't see how
and that's ready because we're looking at. He's trying to say what this last part of it is trying to say. We're trying to say that he feels, Rav Papa feels that the first part of the Brisa also is ready. He's trying to explain why it also should be ready. That's what he's trying to say. And he's trying to get the idea of the concept of the guarding case. In the guarding case, we all know what happens if he does say guarding. The question is, what's the stop if he doesn't say guarding? And he's trying to say that can still go according to Rashi. That can still go to Rebbe. Let's look at the Rashi and see if that helps that. The Rebbe. Kula Rebbe. Let's go.
We all have it there in the Rashi?
Rashi. Be at the bottom. The next one, the Rashi before the Mishnah.
About 8 lines up from the very bottom.
Kula Rebbe.
Kula Rebbe. Right.
You have it right?
Right. Let me see.
Oh, yes.
Okay. The Rebbe before, by the way, was Rabbi Eliezer, which is the third. There were 3 opinions. Rabbi Eliezer, then there was Rav, Rava, and now this is Rav Papa. Okay, so this is now Rabbi Eliezer said that they had to be the same. They didn't have to be the same thing.
He said split it.
You could split it. Rashi is the first, Rabbanan is the first, Rashi is the
rabbis,
Sefer Rava.
And Papa says it's Rebbe.
All Rebbe.
All Rebbe. Kula Rebbe Hukki.
Right.
It's all Rebbe. The Seifa Dafka Varesha Lo Tidok Nina. The Seifa, the second half, is specific.
Right. We know is Rebbe. That you can easily see.
Right.
The Reish is the question.
The Resha is not specific. Yes, Tidok is the same as Dafka.
Don't make a deduction. Don't make a svara. Low Tidok. Don't do the inference, so to speak. I mean, low Tidok. Don't make an inference from it.
As follows. What Rashi's going to explain. What's the inference you're not supposed to infer?
Low Tidok. Don't make
Stama.
Huzuk Chayit. Don't make.
Case the passive damage is chayav. In other words, if the ox of the owner of the ox is damaged, we would have said that the owner of the courtyard is chayav. Don't say that. Right?
Right.
Don't make that inference.
Devadai, that certainly Tsama, the unspecified case, Nami also Hizik Chayiv. If the ox damages, he's Chayiv. Chuzak, Patur. If he's damaged, he's Patur. Vahai, Dinakat, and this, that the Nakat, what's Nakat?
It's like it shows.
What?
That it shows this wording, the Shomru.
This, that it shows, the Shamra, when he says, you guard it,
That expression that was used, right? The shamru,
the Chayvusa, to make him liable, Nizak, for damages,
Like Shomru.
Shalem,
full damage.
for full damages.
That expression, Vashamru, was chosen in order that there should be an obligation of full damages.
Full damages. Kamar,
That's why it was said. That when that expression was chosen and said, it was done in order that there should be an obligation for full damages.
okay. Im Kuzak, if the ox was damaged. Shoro shel bal chatzer, the ox that was owned by the owner of the courtyard, ha stama, in the unspecified case, chetzi nezik, half damages.
So the inference, basically he's saying that the inference you're getting in the Shomru bit is that it's full damages if he says Vishamru, but if he doesn't say Vishamru, he still has to pay, but only Chetzi Nezik, not Nezik Shomru.
Because you can't make the inference to the Stam case that there's no liability, because there's another possibility, and that is that there's half liability.
Right, and that's the inference. The inference is that you're not off the hook totally, but you have the Stam case is only Chetzi Nezik.
So when the Gemora
Because now
said,
it's
let's make
making
these
point.
inferences, it was missing something.
Right.
It was missing that there's another possibility, and therefore those inferences are not necessarily indicated.
You say don't make it. But that's according to the public. It's a three-way McClocus that didn't answer. Because one guy says it could go both ways. One guy says it could be Rava says it could be only Rabbanan, and this Rav Papa says it's only Rebbe. And you're not sure what it is, because at the beginning you had it all started with the Hilchah. One said the Hilchah is by one, that's Rav and Shmuel. One said it's a Rabbanan opinion, one said it's the Rebbe opinion. So it's a Rav and Shmuel argument.
Very good.
Okay, Shkolah. Have a good day in his body.
Yeah, we'll see you.